Welcome to Oksana Live TV, the place to be if you want to meet someone really special and create a love life of your dreams. And this is Q&A Wednesday. And today's question I picked specifically because the matter that we're going to be talking about is really close to me. So we are going to talk about kids. As you know, I just recently became a parent, a mother. So this matter, anything that has to do with children, is very close to me. So I picked this question for this exact reason. And the question is coming from Larry, and Larry is coming from Michigan. So this is what Larry writes. Oksana, what is your advice to someone who wants to marry a woman with a child, but father's child is against of his relocation? Natalia said she would not go anywhere without her son. Father wasn't even involved in kids' upbringing until Natasha told him of their move to US. What should we do? Larry, this is a painful topic and I can feel your pain. And it makes me sick to my stomach to deal with situations like that. Unfortunately, they do exist. And unfortunately, it does happen sometimes when woman brings up the question to her ex about them relocating to United States or any other country, and she's asking for permission for a piece of paper allowing her child and her move to US. Well, quite often, it happens that Russian, in fact, it is actually Ukrainian gentlemen are totally opposed to that. And with their entrepreneurial minds, all of a sudden, they become very entrepreneurial. They start all of a sudden thinking about what can they escort out of the situation. So sometimes they even come up with some numbers they would like to receive, with some sums of money they would like to receive from a gentleman so basically they're looking for a bride. And even though it happens very often when the father was not even involved in upbringing of his child, when a mother got divorced, when a woman got divorced from a man, then he was not involved in upbringing and raising his child, and then all of a sudden he becomes such a wonderful father, and all of a sudden he needs that child in his life once he finds out that a woman is trying to get her life straightened out, and once she is trying to get married to somebody foreign, then all of a sudden many men in Ukraine, they decide that they do need that woman and they do need that child. So what can you do to get the situation taken care of? What can you do to be able to bring this woman and her child to your country and to marry them? Basically, the first thing you should do, and you mentioned this in your question, that father is not taking care of his son. So does that mean that he's not paying child support? Because if he doesn't pay child support, then officially, then a woman can file with court, and she can take his parental rights away. So this way, it's just a matter of getting the court day set up, and usually those matters are taken care of really quick, and you are all done. So in this case, she would be able to come to the United States with her child. Another big thing, another big mistake that Russian women do, or Ukrainian women, is that they start talking to their ex and telling him that they met this wonderful guy from United States and he is this fantastic man and all that, and that she wants to get a piece of paper allowing her child to go with her to United States, because they're going to have this amazing life and all that. So that automatically triggers things in Ukrainian man's mind. He starts thinking of opportunities, like what he can get out of this whole situation. So if your woman haven't told, well, she probably did tell her ex about the possibility of them relocating to the United States. But if someone right now who's watching this video, if you are communicating with a woman who does have a child and she hasn't talked to her ex about the possibility to move to the United States, tell her not to. Tell her not to tell anybody about her relocating to the United States. So that will save some time, and that will save some money and some nerves for sure. So how do you approach a situation and getting the permission, that piece of paper from an ex-husband which allows child to relocate to a foreign country? Basically, I know that that stands in Kazakhstan. Maybe in Ukraine rules are a little bit different, but when woman is talking to her ex, tell her to mention to her ex that she wants to go, let's say, visit relatives or visit a friend in Russia. That is different country, that is overseas. Not yet tell him about possibility of going really overseas, really far away, but just to go to Russia. So, and most men will have no problem signing that piece of paper, and while she's there at the notary, she can ask him, why don't you just put a few countries there, just in case, so I don't bother you in the future. Of course, we're not gonna go anywhere. Come on, we're staying in this country, but just in case, can you just put a couple more countries? If he says no, it's okay, just leave the Russia there, and that's it. But in most cases, men wouldn't mind to put just a few more countries there, allowing child to go to those countries as well. Another thing that you can do is a woman can tell to her ex that she got this opportunity from some school and that her child can enroll in a student exchange program. So that will, of course, in this case, a man would need to sign that piece of paper allowing child to go overseas. But at least he doesn't know that a woman is planning to get married to someone. Once she has that piece of paper allowing child to go to overseas, then you are all set. There is some other trick that worked really well in the past, and basically, if a father knows that woman is trying to relocate to United States or any other country, and he doesn't want a child to leave their country of residence, then woman can tell him, you know what, that's fine. I found my love. I want to go overseas. So why don't you care a child? And she can leave a child with the father for some time. And normally, Russian men and Ukrainian men, especially if they haven't spent too much time with their children, then it is exhausting to take care of the child. Of course, he would lose his independence. He will have no time to date women, and his hands going to be tied. So if he spends some time with the child, and if child doesn't behave really well, then most likely a man will eventually give that permission. And if woman makes him to believe that she will leave the child behind, she can travel back and forth to Ukraine, to Russia, but she is going, either way, she is going to marry her boyfriend or fiance. And, in this case, most likely a man eventually will agree to let the child go. Another very big one as well is if woman mentions, why don't you give me a permission to go overseas, and then I will invite you over, you can come and visit your child there. Of course, a man sees the opportunity, especially in Ukraine, where things are, it is difficult to get out anywhere. So for a man to see this opportunity, that's a huge, huge, huge thing. If woman makes him believe that this is a possibility, then you're in a good shape. There's sure some other, well, not so ethical ways, but I wouldn't go that route. But so here's the thing: if you are communicating with someone, or if you are thinking about starting communication with someone, and if she does have a child, I probably would recommend you to take a couple of actions before you got yourself deeply involved with that person. So number one thing is, of course, ask her what is the situation with her ex, with the father of a child, and you can kind of come up with a story telling her that you have this friend who is dealing with a situation with his fiance, and she's from, let's say, from Russia, and here's the situation. So just make sure you explain a woman why you ask her a question about a situation with the father, because otherwise it will look really, really suspicious. I'm instructing my girls, if I know someone was in a relationship and she's expecting a child, I'm instructing them not to put father in a birth certificate if, of course, if man doesn't want to be a father. So don't push this matter on him if he doesn't want to be involved, because that is actually will create situation. It will make a situation a little bit more difficult in the future. And two other questions that you should ask her also before you get deeply involved with her is whether or not child is in her birth certificate of her child. and also another one is father is paying the child support. So those are two really big questions, because that will clear up the situation, and you will understand, you know, what type of woman, what type of situation you would be dealing with. And also ask your woman, of course, if she talked to her ex about possibility of relocating to another country, and if she hasn't, instruct her not to talk to him and not to give him all these ideas and time to think about what he can, you know, what kind of ideas he can come up with. I know that sometimes people are paying bribes to their exes just so they can get this permission, this piece of paper. So now let's talk about what is this permission and this piece of paper is. What type of consent is this? So basically there are forms in a notary service in Ukraine, in Russia, in Kazakhstan, everywhere. They have those. It is pre-written forms where and there's two forms that woman would need to get from her husband, or at least one of them, ex-husband, sorry. So first one is the permission for a child just to travel outside of the country, just to travel overseas. And another piece of paper is that the father allows child to get a passport and citizenship of the, you know, of let's say United States. So the first piece of paper allowing woman to travel overseas with a child, to bring child with her wherever she travels. The thing, however, is this: American embassy does not ask for that permission for that piece of paper. That piece of paper is only necessary if she gets stopped at the customs while departing, while trying to go overseas, and only in this case she will, you know, if she gets asked, then she will need to provide that paper. If she doesn't get asked, then at the customs, then she doesn't need to, you know, she doesn't need to worry about that piece of paper. And the second one is the permission to get citizenship and passport of another country is basically you will be dealing with that later on after you've been married for a few years. And if woman doesn't have that permission, then INS, Immigration Services, they might not grant this child citizenship of United States, you know, if we're talking about United States in this case. A child, of course, will be able to be a resident of United States, so that's another thing. He can be a resident, she can be a resident for even, you know, all their life without any problems, without getting citizenship of the new country. But basically, you know, so you know a little bit about what these two pieces of papers are. And those ones can be obtained from the notary service in a country where a woman lives, and they have those forms, and those papers, they would need to be notarized. It is not being asked to get those papers apostilled, but I would do that. The apostille is basically is used for the documents that will be provided overseas. So notary works in the same country if you're presenting those documents in the same country, but if you're bringing documents overseas, then you should get them apostilled as well, additionally to getting them notarized. But it is not required. I would just do that. Some people do that for documents. Actually, it is required to do for documents like diplomas. But I would do that for these papers as well. Now I want to report to you about my news, and as I mentioned a couple of weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back, that I'm going to be working on a book. So we got working on a book. I mean me and my daughter Sophia. And here's the pictures. This is us working on our book, on my book. She is helping me, as you can tell. So the book is coming along beautifully, and I want to thank you for participating in helping me to make this all happen. I want to thank you for providing those questions, and I asked you a couple of weeks back to give me questions. What you want to know about Russian women? What do you want to know about, you know, like documents or travel or anything like that? And some of you came up with a really excellent questions, and I want to thank you for participating. And if you have more questions, I would appreciate it, and you can submit them right below this video, or click reply button in the email that you received from me, and put all your questions there. So I still have some room in my book, so maybe there is something I didn't cover, you know, so your questions may be right on time, and that would be perfect. So thank you very much in advance. And of course, as I said before, people who submitted their questions, 10 first questions, they will get my book for free, and I will ship it. I will ship it to them, and I will also pay for shipping. And I also will include our 2014 The Most Beautiful Russian Women calendar. In 2013, calendar was really, really popular. Actually, half of the girls got married from the calendar. So, we created some couples. And this one features more US-based ladies. So we have about 80% of women who are coming from United States in this in 2014 issue. So anyway, questions? Hit the reply button in the email that you received from me, or you can submit your questions right here below this video. And maybe I'll surprise you and ship you my book and a calendar as well. So I want to thank you for your participation in this regard. And now I have a question for you. Have you, or do you know anyone who had to deal with situation of ex-husband not allowing child to leave the country, and how did that situation resolve? So I want to know your insight and your story about this topic, and I am sure that right now someone is looking for that exact answer, and your answer and your input would be a huge help to them. So help out someone who is looking for the answer right now. Now, if you want to see more great episodes like this, make sure to log into OksanaLive.com and sign up for Oksana Live TV. Make sure to get yourself on a list to be notified every time when we get a new episode coming live. Keep searching for that special someone in your life and never quit, because I promise you, she is out there and looking for you. Now you stay safe, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you next week on Oksana Live TV.